Hello DeFi Alpha Gang, my name is Seb. I'm one of the co-founders of the DeFi Alpha Gaming Guild, and I'm here with the other co-founder, Gerry. How are you today, Gerry?
Yeah, good, Seb. How are you? I hear you're back on dry ground now. You got stuck up in some of the flooding there in northern New South Wales.
Yeah, I'm back on dry ground, thank goodness, but I'm back here now, ready to back in front of the computer, away from the floods. Unfortunately, northern New South Wales has this kind of once in 100 year storms, 2 years in a row. So sucks for them. Not sure what they're going to do, to be honest, but every day there's more of a building case, I guess, for metaverses in some ways. But yeah, how are you doing? How's
Yeah, going well, mate. Yep, I'm glad that the Gotchiverse has launched, and we've got some sort of something to actually talk about in terms of the game and how it's all going. So yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we haven't really prepared much. We've just basically jumped in. I mean, it's now a couple of days after launch. You've had a little bit of a play. I've had a little bit of a play. I've done some lending. Nicole, one of our guild members, has done a video on lending and had a bit of a play herself. And there's little bits of information that I think is really, really helpful for a newbie that wants to maybe borrow or has some kind of questions. So, what kind of things did you find the best about the Gotchiverse launch? What little bits of
I
alpha
think
do you have?
probably the thing I was most interested in was what is the actual demand going to be? Because it's just a great unknown, really. How many people are going to be waiting to get in? And I think they've been topping out at about 1,500 active players, which is pretty encouraging. But
Yeah.
we've got 17,000 gotchis. So I guess the renting side of it hasn't really blown up like a lot of us had hoped, at least not yet. But we're only 2 days in, so that's probably the biggest takeaway I had. And also, how buggy is it going to be? As you know, I don't have a great internet connection. Hopefully, getting Starlink installed tomorrow. We'll see. But for me, it was pretty good. I didn't find it very laggy at all. No real bugs that I encountered. So it's all been a pretty smooth experience for me so far. How about yourself?
Yeah, it's been pretty fine. Obviously a little bit of a delay. I did it in New South Wales on like a laptop with a small screen. There's a couple of things that I kind of realized early on, or Nicole told me, and basically just to zoom out, fully zoom out, so you're on 0%, and then you'll see more Alchemica. I still have a little bit of
Yeah,
difficulty. Maybe I get to some Alchemica and I'm using the keys on the keyboard, and I just kind of overshoot it all the time. Just trying to get it, right and precise to pick up the Alchemica is not exactly perfectly easy. And I haven't made a lot. Quite often it could be minutes, like 5 minutes before I get even a single bit of FUD. But other times, I might get a couple of things. But yeah, there's a lot of players in there, so it's not super, super easy. I guess there'll be certain times
no,
when it'll be a right time to jump in. Yeah. But
yeah.
it's
When I
it's
first
good.
jumped in, there was about 600 players, and I think it was just based off the time zone of when I got up and okay, I can get in there and have a play now, and it wasn't too bad, but there wasn't as much Alchemica being spilt initially, but they upped that. I think it's 600 odd every minute. But when I gave it a go late yesterday, there was twice as many players, and it was a much harder to try and get anything. So it was kind of like just trying to find a spot on the map. Also fully zoomed out, as you mentioned, where there isn't a gotcha around, and you're finding a lot of people were just doing that. They'd find a spot and just stay there and wait for the next minute and hope that something appears. So that was one tactic, but yeah, it's pretty slow going. It's a bit of a grind, and
Yeah.
I guess the other thing is we've now got some sort of price discovery around the tokens. So that was the other big unknown is, what prices are these going to trade at? And yeah, I mean, I think a piece of keck was trading for, well over $1 at one point there. Pulled back quite a bit now to about 80 cents. But yeah, it's still, massively up on the initial liquidity that Pixelcraft put in there just as we anticipated. So it'll be interesting to see how much the prices deflate over the next 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, well, I think, initially tweeted, or someone had tweeted that 600 ghosts turned into, I don't know how,
Yeah,
I think it
so
was 600 into
someone
60
got in there in
grand.
the first minute or something, and at the time, I think they put in about $400 worth of Ghost, and that was about $60,000 worth of value. Within a few hours. So I don't know if they've been selling back into the market or they've just been, being a whale and wanting to hold all the keck. Who
Hmm.
knows? So someone cleaned up, and yeah, as we expected, it got botted straight away. So all the
Yeah.
liquidity got drained, and so it's still not a bad time to sell, but to be honest, if you've only got a few kek, you're only going to make, $1 or something like that. So I'm just going to hold mine, I think, for the next little while because I haven't got that much. Yeah.
Sure. Well, I mean, I think we'll probably still agree on the fact if you're a scholar and you want to, rent a Gotchi and make some profit and then turn it back into Ghost and then into USDC, then probably the best bet is to sell before Pixelcraft Studios adds more liquidity. In about 4 days, they're going to add more liquidity. And then, I'm expecting, you were expecting for the price to go down. Are you still thinking along those lines?
I think it probably will continue to bleed out. I mean, in the last 24 hours, it's dropped from about $1.20 down to about 80 cents. And I think that chart's similar on all 4 of the Alchemica types. So I think that's just sell pressure from these people that are getting in and farming early. And I'm guessing that's going to continue, but who knows where it sort of finds its bottom. And, you need to have a fair bit for it to be sort of worth it. Mind you, if you're in a third world country, $1 goes quite a long way. So there's that to consider as well. I'm not sure how many people are in here, just sort of for the fun of it versus people that are actually trying to get an income to live off. So it's all interesting to see how it's playing out. And I think early on, I had heard a lot of people were snapping up the free listings of Gotchis and then not using them. So they may have had 20 wallets going and they take 20 Gotchis off the market and just play with one. So there's less competition, which is a pretty smart tactic. And it's pretty easy to rent a Gotchi now. It's not, I think the floor, I think the smallest amount you can ask for without making it free is 1 Ghost. So that's still $2.
You can do 0.1 Ghost.
Oh, you can now. Okay, they changed that. So they had talked about it in the Discord, but initially it was 1 Ghost. So I think that was an issue as well.
Yeah. Well, so I rented mine at 0.1 Ghost and...
Did you? Okay.
Just to see if it worked.
Maybe it was a fat finger by me, but I didn't get that to work. So all of mine are locked in the Gotchi vault, but they haven't been earning anything because there's just not enough demand for the Gotchis yet. Right.
Yeah, you can't type in 0. 0 won't go in, but you can put in 0.1 and then it goes, or 0.5.
Oh, okay. I probably put the 0 in. Trying to be more correct there.
Yeah, so that was a bit of a small UI bug there. If anyone does have any Gotchis and they want to rent them out, I'm not sure what each individual guild is doing. We haven't decided yet. It's too early to kind of work out everyone's moves here. But if you go into the Aavegotchi Discord and you go to the Scholars chat, and if you just post one thing in there, someone's going to find you and you're going to get 10 DMs from this person saying, I want to be your scholar. So it's kind of like Axie Infinity all over again. But it's still... It's
interesting that they haven't gone straight to the site and just picked one up because I think there's a lot on there, isn't there?
Yeah.
They're probably just not used to... They probably just don't get how this works yet. They've come from the world of Discord and Axie, as you say, and they probably don't realize they can just connect if they've got a wallet with a bit of Matic in it. They can just come in and claim one of these guys and start running around and earning straight away. Or maybe they're trying to get a more preferable split with whoever they're trying to get endorsed by.
Yeah, but there's some pretty good splits up there as well. But I think what they're trying to... I mean, I don't really know. Firstly, there's probably not that many Gotchis being lent out for less than 1 Ghost. So if you whitelist it and provide them a Gotchi, you do it at nothing, and you do get a split. I did it just for the first day, just as a bit of fun. I took 10% and then I gave them 90%. Those metrics are definitely in the scholar's favor, and it's not what's going to stick long term. There's other strategies where people have said, all right, you can rent my Gotchi for 8 hours or so and pay 3 Ghost, and you take 100% or 99% of all of the Alchemica. I think people are just kind of just seeing what's going to get their Gotchi lent out at this stage. And it's going to be a little bit of work, exactly how it all kind of goes down, but I think I'm probably going to go for a scholar system. And then have someone kind of in charge of them. It'll just be a little bit harder because obviously, at least not yet, there's no way to auto lend the Gotchi again. So if you just lend someone a Gotchi for 24 hours, they might only play it for 3 hours and then it's not being utilized. And that's kind of what the Gotchi Vault aims to tackle that problem. But, I hope there are other solutions.
One of the selling points of the vault at the moment, at least, is that concept. But it's almost a moot point if the demand's not there. I think as an individual, you probably need to undercut any other guilds and maybe the vault's pricing, which is not hard to do because with the vault they are trying to sponsor, like actually have partnerships with proper guilds that don't have any gotchis. So they're trying to divvy up the funds kind of, almost three ways. So, there's more middlemen involved, I guess. So it wouldn't be too hard to undercut them. And if you have them listed for free, so you don't have to stump up any ghosts, but like you said, that the split's a bit fairer, it'll probably get taken. I just found in the first sort of day, mine were just getting taken off the market and not being used. So I thought, I'll put them all into the vault. I just want to not think about this, but I kind of thought they would get taken in the vault, but I didn't appreciate that the demand wasn't there yet. So I've locked all mine in the vault. So there's a locking mechanism where you can have them listed for rent within the vault, but you can also lock them up. So if they're locked up, the idea is that those ones will have priority to be rented out to any official guild partnerships that the vault has. But obviously that's the numbers aren't quite there to support the number of gotchis they have just yet.
Yeah. And yes, at the moment, I believe it's locked for 1 week. So for 1 week, there is no way at all in which you can withdraw it. I also want to just add, the Gotchi Vault is, certainly they're doing so many great things. They do have a bit of a concentration of power. I'm personally not using them myself. They also, they have their own smart contracts and they've got some super smart people. But the more smart contracts you add, the more kind of risk there is. So by all means, use them. They do some brilliant things and it does make it a lot easier for you. However, it might be a good idea to maybe keep some gotchis out just in case there was anything, maybe you want to play one or something went wrong with the Gotchi Vault, which I doubt will happen given, who they have on board. But it's always, important to take that consideration. Do you happen to know what the split is when you are renting with the Gotchi? Is it like kind of 30% to the...
I think the guild that they partner with, I think they get, is it maybe 20% goes to the guild on top of the vault. So there's a reasonably big amount that's sort of taken to, make sure that the guild that they've partnered with is getting something for their guild treasury funds. And then the vault takes a percentage as well, but I can't recall what it was off the top of my head.
Yeah, so, I thought it was along the lines like 30, 40, 30. So like 30% to you,
something
40%
something
to
like
the
that. It was
scholar,
pretty even.
and 30% goes to Gotchi Vault and the guild in some sort of divvying system. So the scholar only making 40%. If it's been rented out 24/7 or pretty close to 24/7, of course, it's going to be far more lucrative. But otherwise, it's certainly worth renting it out yourself.
Yeah, I think the one point that I think it was one of the partner guilds they had on a hangout, and he made the point that because of the price of the gotchis is quite high, especially now the floor is rising, it's sort of up around $1,200 to get a gotchi, that you could actually take more of a cut as the owner. But that's assuming demand. So obviously the demand's not there yet. So I'd probably say that the initial amounts that people are trying to get for the splits is probably a bit too high, and it's going to take a while for that sort of that uptick in terms of the demand to fill up. And then I guess you'll find over time there will be a fair market price that's determined. And at the moment, everyone's been basing a lot of this off, other games like Axie Infinity. So we're nowhere near the numbers of that yet, obviously. So it will take a while to work out what the market price sort of dictates is a fair split to get your gotchis rented.
Yeah, I've seen some people in Discord, first couple of days, basically saying, I'll do a 50-50 split. So that's what an owner's saying. And I don't think that's nowhere near what it should be. I think it should be over 65%, preferably kind of 70 to 80, at least in the initial period when it's just kind of teething issues and, there's things to consider. That's just my view. Of course, it will refine. You don't have to sign someone to a contract at this stage, but that's what I'd be going for initially, at least for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't put a ghost price on a listing at the moment. I'd have it for free and then just get the split to something that you're happy with. And I think I did 88% to who was renting it, and I still couldn't get any takers with one ghost to try and pay to rent it. So if you did that without the one ghost entry fee, I'm sure you'd start getting some return. It's only going to be small, but you can only play as one gotchi at once, and you can only play, when you can play during the day. So having them rented out, still it's a return on your investment that doesn't really cost you any extra effort other than setting up the rental contract.
Yeah, when you rented that out, how many hours were you renting it for?
From memory, I think I had mine pretty small. I think I set it to 3 or 4.
Okay.
My whole idea was, initially try and work out where people are at, and also had a look at the market and had a look at the other periods of time people were asking. And some of them were 3 or 4 days, some of them were 24 hours. A lot of people were doing 8 hours. And I'm like, 8 hours is an awfully long time to sit in the chair and run around and grind. And so unless you've got 3 or 4 people doing it, which sort of doesn't make sense because there's more gotchis than people at the moment that want to play it.
Yeah.
I just thought maybe a small window of time, but anything that where I put a ghost price on it just didn't get taken. The free ones were taken, but not played. So I was like, okay, I haven't actually earned anything yet from my gotchis other than the one I've run around with my myself. So
yeah, it hasn't been lucrative for me yet. Not that I'm expecting it to be immediately lucrative in any way. Yeah, I definitely will probably be using scholars initially, and eventually there'll be better and better systems, like a ranking system on top scholars. But I would suggest that to people initially. The only thing I've earned is a very small split from people that have played for I think a couple of gotchis. And then the other way that I've earned money is when people have basically rented the gotchi, done nothing with it, but paid between 0.1 to 1 ghost to have a.
So people were paying and not actually using it. Really?
Yeah. I mean, it is.
That's interesting. Okay, I was not expecting that. So.
Well, it's smart in many ways. I mean, someone just goes and takes them off the market, and then they run around. They pay 1 ghost. They have it for 8 hours.
Maybe that's some of the more organized guilds, perhaps.
Probably.
Yeah, interesting.
It would be like, yeah, I can definitely see how a very organized guild could be like, all right, we're taking this area. Just you take that line, you take that line, you take that line, and just, go for it. And maybe they've got like, hey, let's do 10% to the guild or whatever, or 20% to the guild. And that organization, everyone's in a Discord voice chat. That could probably work out really, really well. And we don't have the number of people or the organization or anything like that to do anything like that at this stage. But maybe in the future we can, I don't know, organize that in some way. But yeah.
Yeah, I do like the fact that it's so easy to set up whitelists. That's awesome. So it probably actually isn't that hard for yourself if you wanted to run your own scholars, because you've obviously been there and done it all through the Discords with Axes. But to be able to actually whitelist it down to other people's wallet addresses, I think is brilliant. And it's a really nice mechanism that they've built. It's just the fact that you can't automate a new rental period. And I'm not sure if they're going to build that in or not. That'll be interesting if they do build that in. I guess things like, certain guilds that were going to build their own UIs for this, that might mean that that's somewhat redundant. So that'll be interesting to see how that comes out in the wash.
Yeah, I have a plan for how I'm going to do it with my whitelist. I won't share that yet. I can share it off camera. We'll see how it goes. If it's any serious alpha, I'll put it out. Just in case it doesn't work at all and I just waste everyone's time trying a new system. But probably in a week or so, I should know how that goes. Yeah, but
Sounds good.
Overall, it's been a fun time in the Gotchiverse. It's an alpha release, remember? So if you get in and go, oh, it's a little bit repetitive, of course it's repetitive. It's like, the first stage. We don't really know when the next stage is actually going to ship, because it could be
it's nothing concrete. Nothing concrete. I think it's basically this first month is literally what you see is what you get, just refining it, making sure that all the bugs are ironed out, probably making sure that their back-end infrastructure is performing as they think it should. And then it sounds like the GAX is a big focus. So the decentralized exchange, that probably is going to be coming, in the next 4 to 6 weeks, we'd hope. And we'll just have to see. I'm going to be really interested to see how they actually grow the game going forward, because there's a lot of people that own a lot of land that can't really do anything with it yet. So there's no utility for the land yet, essentially. And I think a lot of people were buying these things thinking they'd be able to start farming Alchemica soon. So I'm worried if they just go, okay, now the full Citadel is open, that's a huge space for, at the moment, only 1,500 players. Imagine just trying to find any Alchemica in that environment. That'd take a while to find something. So that'll be interesting to see how it all evolves over the coming months.
Yeah. But look, it's going well. And I think you're in the same boat. We're both keen on getting our golden altar. Are you still thinking along those lines?
I think I'll just see what the cost is
Yeah.
I think we had worked out it was going to be around about 500 Ghost on current market prices, but everything's pulled back a bit.
Yeah.
So the trade-off is, do you want to just throw money at this and buy this OG thing that you didn't really work for? I don't know. So I'm not sure. I'm not, there's no rush. I'll probably, if I do anything, I'll probably do it in the final days of the month.
Sure.
When I know what's going on, how much Alchemica I've actually gotten. Hopefully we've got hundreds of thousands of people renting Gotchis at that point. And, I'll get 10 of them maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, wow. Okay. Hundreds of thousands of people renting Gotchis within a month. Is that what you're thinking?
Sure. Yeah, I think that's a fair metric to aim for.
That's very bullish of you. Very bullish. But yeah, exactly. Well, brilliant. Look, there's so much shipping and bugs being improved on by the team. So if you're noticing any issues, just go into Discord and just be very mindful of people that are maybe targeting you as scammers. But there's a lot of announcements always out there of, if you can't withdraw correctly or a UI change, and they're just shipping and improving. So that's really, really good. I really, really like that. But yeah, just on the note regarding scammers, at the moment, I think it's still quite safe. But whenever you have a lot of attention, and there's a lot more attention coming to Aavegotchi, you will get people that will come in and be able to work their magic and scam some people. So just be super safe. Your Gotchi's your Gotchi. You don't need to do anything to compromise that. So just, if in doubt, turn off DMs in Discord and just stay safe. Anything else to add there, sir?
No, not really. That's good advice with Discord, especially if you're not used to it. It is very easy to get duped, especially with DMs, thinking that someone from the team or, another trusted contact. It's so easy to spin up another profile that looks identical. So just be careful.
Yeah, exactly. And just remember, the team members will never DM you first. They'll always be like, if you want to chat, they'll just say, all right, send me a message so you know you've got the right person. So keep that in mind. Well, with that, Gotchi gang, thanks very much for tuning in. We'll catch you in the next alpha session, and good luck farming the Alchemica. Cheers.